Well, I can add another to my collection because right here you can see it. It says Space Jam: A New Legacy. That's right, I have it on DVD. Now you might ask yourself, how is that possible? Well, let's just say, like with Zack Snyder's Justice League, going on HBO Max, that the cable companies that are trying to become hybrids of both cable service and streaming service, let's just say they got a lot more issues to work out. And what I mean by that is, you would think that the cable companies would pretty much figure out that along with the cable channels and the pay-per-view channels, that they copy protect from recordings, no matter what kind it is, whether it's DVD recorders, VHS recorders if you still use those, or even Blu-ray recorders if you're lucky to have those. You'd think they would learn from that and apply that same copy protection method to the new streaming category, the new streaming platform that goes along with their the cable platform. You think they would apply that same copy protection to that, but they don't. And for me, this is not the first time I've done this. Altogether, it's the fourth time I've done it. The first two times was when I recorded some animated holiday specials off Netflix, and the other two times were Zack Snyder's Justice League off HBO Max, and just moments ago, Space Jam: A New Legacy off HBO Max. But the big difference between Justice League and Space Jam is that even though Zack Snyder's Justice League did have a very limited release, and I mean very limited, it was mostly an HBO Max exclusive. It was mostly an HBO Max exclusive, which later got basically announced to be released on 4K Ultra Blu-ray and regular Blu-ray, months later, I think around this time frame. But Space Jam, on the other hand, is one of those movies like Wonder Woman 84 and even the upcoming Suicide Squad or The Suicide Squad that is being released in theaters and simultaneously for a month, that's the catch, a month, on HBO Max with no extra charge, unlike what Disney Plus does at times, depending on certain movies. So, yeah, basically because of that decision that they made, that a lot of people actually got on HBO Max and Warner Brothers mostly for deciding to do without the consent, if you will, of all the production partners. A lot of people now can have access to be able to record this stuff on their DVD, Blu-ray, or VHS recorders, or if they watch it on their computers, aka laptops, if you will, they could utilize whatever video capture device software they have on there to do it, like I have one with CyberPower Director, or they could go to the consoles, connect a video capture device on there, whether it's a portable one and not one you have to connect to your computer, and they could do it from there as well. The point is, because of this decision made by Warner Brothers, a lot of people are going to go this direction to get the movies instead of just go to the theaters if they can't watch the movie, or if they miss out, I should say, watching the movie during its month-long run on HBO Max. Now, here's the thing though. It's not just Warner Brothers that should take the blame for this. It's not just Disney, with what they're doing, whether you want to pay that premium $30 or more for movies like, let's say, Cruella. It's not just them, but it's also the cable companies that, like I said, are trying to be a hybrid of both cable service and streaming service. Excuse me there. They're trying to be a hybrid of both. And you would think, since they've already pretty much applied, except somewhat for broadcast television, most of the time, But other times you think, you know, you think that with them applying, with the exception of, like I said, of broadcast television, most of the time, that when it comes to the cable channels and the pay-per-view channels, that they would take that same copyright protection that they do there to prevent any recordings, if you will, and apply it to the streaming apps. But they don't. They don't do this. And out of the 4 times, actually it should be 5 times, because one of the other times I used Paramount Plus to record the Grammys when I missed recording it off of its original broadcast on CBS. And again, you know, the cable companies have no one to blame but themselves, but the streaming services, the people in charge of the streaming services, also have no one to blame but themselves, because they haven't worked out a system, if you will, that prevents this from happening. And because both sides, you know, on their own or together, haven't worked out some kind of system in any of the future updates or past updates to prevent this from happening, people like me can get movies like Space Jam on DVD or on digital or some kind of way to watch whenever we want, even if we miss watching it during its month-long run on the HBO Max. And this is something that both cable companies and the streaming platforms that partner with them, when the cable companies want to be that hybrid of both, they need to work out. Because if I'm HBO Max, if I'm Disney Plus, if I'm Paramount, you know, if I'm Netflix, I would be pissed. I would be effing pissed at the fact that, you know, what people are doing here, I could be making money off of through box office if they missed watching it on, you know, my service. You know, I would be pissed. And I'd want something done. But so far, nothing has been done. And that is on, basically, like I said, both sides. That blame is on both sides of the platform. On both sides of the equation. You know, the cable companies need to take responsibility for not applying the same copyright protection from recording, you know, with the regular cable channels and stuff, and taking it and applying that basically to the streaming apps. They need to take responsibility, and the streaming apps need to take responsibility for not adding in an update that prevents this from happening either way, whether it's through cable companies partnerships, whether it's through computers or laptops or game consoles or streaming consoles or whatever. You know, they too need to take the blame, because neither one of them have come up with a solution to stop this. Which is why honestly, I'm not ashamed to say I now have Space Jam Legacy on DVD. Because of the fact that it's not my fault I got it. It's not my fault my DVD recorder I've had since 2009 allows me to do this. It's the cable company. It's the streaming services that partner with those cable companies. They're the ones that need to take responsibility, because, again, if I was in their shoes, the streaming services, I'd be pissed. I would be mad. I'd be like, what the heck is going on here? They shouldn't be able to do this. We need to do something. And until they do something, people like me are going to keep doing this. So if I'm them, if I'm HBO Max, if I'm the people in charge of HBO Max, Disney Plus, Netflix, Amazon Prime, Vudu, Hulu, you know, Peacock, which is even owned by the same people that own own Xfinity. If I'm them, I apply an update to all the, I apply the updates to all the apps, all the apps people downloaded of our services, to make sure that if they tried this kind of stuff on their computer or their laptops or even their game consoles, that it would prevent it from happening. That basically, let's say somebody uses the screen recorder option on the Cyber Power Director software to record Space Jam off the computer or laptop. You know, if they apply an update to it that prevents it, it could say basically cannot record. It should be able to put a message in there saying can't record, or even if it does say it's recording, when it's all said and done, all you get is a blank screen. And that's it. That's all you get. Your recording is nothing but a blank screen. Same with portable video capture devices. Same, do the same thing there. And when it comes to cable, they should basically doing their daily updates that they do every night or every day, depending on where you live and what time they do it. They should apply one of those they should take one of those updates, I should say, and apply it to where, they basically copy protection that they have against recording, and basically paste it onto the streaming services, onto the streaming apps platform, to prevent it from happening there. But because neither side has done this, it makes it possible for people like me to get Space Jam: A New Legacy, on DVD. It allows us to get Zack Snyder's Justice League on DVD. It allows us to record, holiday stuff off Netflix. It allows us to do all this stuff because neither side, depending on how people view these movies, depending on that platform they view it on, have not taken any action to prevent it from happening. And it's on them. And look, I'm not trying to encourage them to do it, because I think they should have figured it out themselves. But honestly, again, I know I sound repetitive here. If I'm in their shoes, I would be pissed. If I'm the CEO or the person in charge of that platform, that streaming division for HBO, for Warner Brothers, for Paramount, Viacom, if you will, for Netflix, for Amazon Prime, for Hulu and all them, if I was the person in charge or put in charge of that division, I'd be pissed. I would be pissed at this revelation, and I would do whatever it took to make sure it didn't happen again. No matter what platform somebody watches the movie or the show on, I would make sure that if they even think of recording it or DVRing it or video capturing it, that I find a way through a future update to make sure that doesn't happen. But again, I'm not trying to say they should do it, because they should have done it a long time ago. But because they haven't, honestly, people like me now can do stuff like this. Now, the one thing I will say that's a downfall, a bit of a discredit, is that you'll get basically a boxed in look depending on the player. Now, if I played this on my regular DVD player, I'd get a full screen. Or at least I'd get a widescreen, if you will, a 2x38 widescreen that we are seeing a lot of times nowadays. I'd get that. But because I play it on my 4K deal, I get more of along the lines of a boxed 2x3 mini widescreen, and that's it. But again, the point is, I shouldn't be able to do this because of the fact that the cable companies, the streaming services, together and on their own, should prevent this from happening. They should have prevented this from happening a long time ago, but they never did. And it's on them. So yeah, I got Space Jam: A New Legacy now on DVD, so even when it goes off HBO Max on August 15th, I won't have to worry about having to go to the theaters to see it, because I already have it. But let me know what you guys think. How do you feel about this whole situation with the cable companies, not working on basically updating the services and taking that copyright protection they have against recordings from DVD recorders, Blu-ray recorders, if you're lucky to have those, or VHS recorders, and applying it to the streaming app services or streaming app category, if you will? Let me know, how do you feel about that? Let me know your thoughts on that. Also, let me know your thoughts on the fact that streaming services themselves have yet to prevent people from doing it on the computers, consoles, or wherever, depending on the video capturing software or devices they would utilize. Let me know down below. Comment if you like the video, and I will talk to y'all later. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are, and I'm out.